All right, Chloe, we're back.
Yep.
So, based on the posture observations that we've done prior to this, what we can run through now are some self-myofascial release techniques to sort of promote some blood flow and some movement in those areas that might be a bit stiff and rigid to properly set you up for your movement ahead.
Yep.
So, as observed before in that posture observation, I did sort of see slight valgus of the knees. So your knees are in a little bit, and there's a bit of a sort of dorsal rotation of your ankles as your body's a little bit forward, which I think might be coming from some tight hips. So what we can run through today are some, like I said, some self-myofascial release techniques for your hips and sort of your quadricep complex and maybe the ITB as well.
Yep.
So these techniques should help elongate those muscles through that area and allow for some better movement in the movement ahead. So what I'll show you now is the first one, which is the hip complex.
Yep.
The hip flexor. So like I said to you before, you sort of have these tight hips, maybe from sort of bending all day or even sitting down sometimes as well. Your hip flexors shorten, so it's good to roll them out. So your hip's sort of located from your hip bone here, and it runs through into the front of your leg there. So if you could just, what I like to do is get the foam roller and position it around that area. So your hips not, the hip flexors aren't too long, they sort of only run from here to here. So what you can do is I like to just position the foam roller so it's in a comfortable position on the floor, and then you can find that part of your hip. So just underneath your hip bone, and then sort of leaning into your quad. So what you do is just roll from the hip, so the hip bone to the top of your quad there, and you can sort of go 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then by that 4th time, I'd imagine that you would have found what we call a grumpy spot, a part that sort of feels a bit uneasy. When you get to that spot and you find that spot within that hip complex, you can rotate on that complex. So you can rotate either side, and you can do that 4 times as well. So you found the grumpy spot and you're just rolling over that grumpy spot and shifting the muscle across that. So as a demonstration again, one more time, Chloe. Your hip complex, so from the hip down to the quad, you can roll back and forth in that area. So 1, 2, and by then you probably already have found your grumpy spot, but you can just keep going for the 3 and the 4. And then 4, when you find that grumpy spot, you just want to roll over that muscle either side. And what that should do is promote some blood flow to that area. And then afterwards we can do some mobilize to get that part of the body moving as well. So if you'd like to just participate in that to start with. So like I said again, your hips from your sort of hip bone into your quad, I think you'll find it straight away. So you can just go from your hip to your quad and just go back and forth a couple of times, so 4 times.
Do I need both feet on the ground?
Sort of, or you can put one on top of the other, yeah. Can you feel that part in your hip there?
Yep.
Yeah. Is there a spot where it feels the most grumpy or the most aggravated?
Yep.
Okay, so when you find that spot, now you can just shift on that muscle either side. There you go. Does that feel alright?
Yeah.
Cool. Beautiful. So it's 4 and 4. You go back and forth 4 times, and then when you find that grumpy spot, you could roll over it twice, we'll say, for instance. So 4 and 2. Wonderful, Chloe. That's good. Now what I might get you to do as well is then swap to the other hip as well. So if you go onto your left hip and then try the same thing as well. So go from the top of your hip down to your quad, back and forth 4 times. You want to count it out with as you go?
So 4 times.
Up and back, yeah. So 2, 3, and by now I think you would have found your grumpy spot. 4, find that grumpy spot. And then as I said before, sort of switch over that grumpy spot. There you go, yeah, wonderful. Does that feel alright in that hip spot there?
Yep.
Wonderful, cool. Alright, fantastic. Well done. Okay, on to the next one. So I can show you the next one as well, Chloe. So maybe with the knees that are sort of potentially bowing in, it could potentially be coming from maybe some tight Achilles band muscles, or even the vastus lateralis part of your quadricep, which runs, so that your quad runs here, and then the vastus lateralis runs sort of in between your quad and the ITB. So if we maybe just try put the foam roller within that area, we could cause some release around that area, which potentially might allow your knees to move a bit more freely.
Yep.
So I guess we can try hit that part of the ITB, which runs from your hip again down the side of the leg here.
Yep.
It's sort of difficult to reach this part of the muscle as it's really strong and tight, but I think you should get some relief from it either way by sort of hitting this area. So what I'd like to do, this muscle runs the whole way down your leg, so we can sort of start in two parts. You can start in the first part, which goes from the top to the middle, and then from the middle down there's another section as well. So there's two sections. We can start in the top section, Chloe. So it's the same process as before. Start from the top, and then you only roll into the middle there of the IT band. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I found my grumpy spot, and I'm just going to twist over that grumpy spot. Sort of like rotate in, and then rotate out. I'm going to do that twice. And then after that, we can go to the second section of the IT band, which is from the middle down towards the knee. So 1, 2, that one's a bit painful, Chloe. 3, 4. Okay, so I found that grumpy spot again, which is really grumpy. And I'm just going to rotate in, and then out again, and then the second one, 2. Fantastic. Right. Already I can feel a nice release in the side of my leg there, which is really good for me as well, as I had problems with my knees as well, Chloe. So, like I said again, you've got two sections to the IT band. So, first section from the hip to the middle, section 2 is from the middle to the bottom.
Yep.
So start at the hip, and then work your way to the middle of that IT band there. So, other way, sort of go a bit further down the leg. So you can start there, and you want to go down to the middle part of your leg here.
Yep.
You can go even further, Chloe. So go even further down your leg. Yep. So maybe start there and just go a little bit further down and then up. So you're looking to hit the foam roller down here, which is perfect there. Then back up to the hip bone, down to the middle of the IT band again.
Well, it's hard to get your legs positioned. Maybe I need to go like
there you
that.
go. Yep. So you're only looking to go from your hip to the middle. So it's not very far. So back to the middle of your leg, and then back up again. Have you found a grumpy spot within that section? Spot that really hurts the most?
Yeah, there.
Yeah, now you can internally twist and externally twist as well on that thing, on that part, on that grumpy spot.
This way?
Yeah, and then out as well. So instead of like rolling up and down now, you're just twisting on that grumpy spot. There you go. Fantastic. So 2 of them, 2 rotations as well.
Yep.
There you go. And then now the second section of that muscle is from the middle down towards the knee.
So.
Wonderful. So you've probably gone a bit too high there, so go a bit further more. Yeah, and then down to the middle of the knee. Beautiful. And back up again. Yeah, and same again. By now you've found a grumpy spot, I'd imagine.
Yep.
And the same thing as well, Chloe, twitching over that.
Oh yeah, that's all.
Yeah. I get the same sort of thing with my knees as well. Wonderful, Chloe. Okay, cool. There's 2. That's both sections done on that part as well.
Yep.
So what I might get you to do now, Chloe, is just swap to the other leg as well and do the same thing in that one.
Yep.
Wonderful. So start from the hip down to the middle of that Achilles band as well again. Beautiful, there you go. So up and down 4 times, that's the second one. 3, that's it, take it nice and slow. And then 4, you found your grumpy spot again? Yep, internally and externally twist again. Wonderful, take that one nice and slow as well. There you go, fantastic, good stuff. Wonderful, cool. There's your 2 one of them, and then from the second section again. So there you go.
Yep.
Just above the knee to the middle of that IT band again. Wonderful. 2, 3, 4, find your grumpy spot, yeah. And then twist externally and internally as well. Yeah, and then twist the other way out again. Nice. Does that feel alright?
Yeah.
Painful, yeah?
Yeah.
I know. There you go. Good job.
Cool.
What I'll get you to do now, Chloe, is just stand up and you just tell me how your legs feel and your hips feel. Do they feel any better?
Yeah, a lot looser.
A lot looser?
Yep.
That's what we're looking for.
Yep.
Good. So that sort of sets you up for the movement ahead.
Yes.
So the next step would be some mobilisers.
Mhm.
To sort of get those parts of the body moving.
Yep.
Some sort of anterior hip drivers maybe.
Yep.
After that, you can go into your workout and jump into your squats and your lunges.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is all sort of like little steps in the process to get you moving comfortably and safely
Mhm.
in your workouts ahead.
Yep.
So good stuff, Chloe. Well done.
No worries.